This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
You all ready for this? Dun 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 dun.
No.
Nope.
Y'all, just
This is
stop. A sham. Welcome to DBL. It's Monday, October 25th. I'm Jeff here with my friends Erica and Al. Everybody have a good weekend?
Yes.
Yeah.
Looking rested? We feel good?
Yeah, it's a Monday.
Someone's got a case of the Mondays?
Yeah, it's a Monday.
All right, well, let's see if we can help you out here, Erica. Okay, so we got some new details in the deadly shooting that happened on set of the Alec Baldwin movie. So, police documents describing what took place during the rehearsal. Baldwin was seated in a church pew, okay? He was practicing what they call a cross draw. He reportedly pointed his gun at the camera, and that's when a live round struck the director in the shoulder and the cinematographer in the chest that ultimately killed her. Court documents also reveal that it was the assistant director who handed Baldwin the firearm, telling him it was a cold gun. And that means it was not loaded, which obviously turned out to be incorrect. So Friday, you guys discussed this. I wasn't really here. A lot of people talking about this over the weekend. And a lot of the fingers are pointed at Alec Baldwin because he's the producer of this movie and ultimately the person who fired the gun. But should they be?
I don't know who the blame falls on, but someone needs to be held accountable.
Exactly.
The idea that when the story first broke and we were talking about prop guns, people acted like it was a Nerf gun or something. We know that it's an actual firearm. And to be handing someone an actual firearm and saying that it's cold without doing the appropriate checks, like that's gun safety 101 to make sure that there isn't a gun in the chamber at all. Like you keep a gun open so that you can do a chamber check, basically. Right. So that's mind-boggling in itself that they would say one thing and it was actually another.
Well, they said it because they clearly didn't check. You know, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. The other way is that they knew and then they lied. So I don't think that's the case. But I will say this, there has to be some accountability. I don't want to throw everybody in jail. I don't want to besmirch everybody's name forever or take hundreds of thousands of dollars from them. But when you have a job that involves children, that involves firearms, that involves safety for a number of adults or children, whatever, you have to take that seriously. And when you don't, there have to be serious repercussions because if we let this slide, the next thing's gonna be like, oh, I didn't know they were strapped in. I thought they were okay. I thought that zip line looked okay. Like, we're talking about people's lives here. So we have to slam the gavel down, not send them to jail, but we need to do something. There needs to be some kind of penalty
there
right
needs
now.
To be accountability, right?
Right.
But my thing is like Alec Baldwin, I'm just thinking, if I'm on a set and I'm just doing rehearsals and I'm trying to remember my movements, and that's what rehearsals are for, to remember where you're going, where your blocking is, and remembering your lines. Is it necessarily his job when it's clearly someone else's job that's in charge of those guns and someone hands it to you during a rehearsal? The last thing I'm going to think is this thing's loaded, right? Especially when he just tells me this is a cold firearm. So I'm sure Alec Baldwin, being the producer, has coverage and insurance on this, but is he the one to blame or should this other guy be to blame?
Well, I think it's going to come down to the paper trail that they clearly have, which is why it's so important to document when things aren't right, especially in professional environments. Everyone thinks that by documenting it or sounding the alarm, that the first time that something happens, everybody's going to lose their job and it's going to be over.
Right.
Generally, what happens is these things happen 10, 15 times, and then something really terrible that you can't come back from occurs. And now we're looking at where the liability is. Who knew? For how long? They talked about the conditions on set, which apparently weren't safe. The crew had walked off earlier in that day. So there's been a lot going on here. And now we're going to see, as we go back in the paper trail, where the blame falls.
Yeah, and ultimately when we do these stories, it becomes about Alec Baldwin. But there's someone who's lost their life and a family who's traumatized now for life. Absolutely. All right, guys, moving on. Angelina Jolie's daughter, Shiloh, has ditched her usual gender-bending ensemble for the premiere of Angelina's latest movie. At the red carpet for Marvel's latest superhero flick, Eternals, the 15-year-old wore a sleeveless black dress and bright yellow high-top sneakers, but her latest style has confused the masses, with many remembering how parents Brad and Angelina commented in the past about Shiloh preferring clothes for boys and wanting to be called John or Peter. Now they're wondering what happened to Shiloh's quote-unquote dude style.
What? What kind of question is this?
I don't know.
Honestly, Shiloh can wear whatever Shiloh chooses to wear. If Shiloh wants to wear a suit, then Shiloh can wear a suit. If Shiloh wants to wear a miniskirt, Shiloh can wear a miniskirt. Well, I don't understand why don't we get to just choose how we want to represent ourselves in the moment? And this is a child. Like, why are people's lives all of a sudden scarred because Shiloh used to wear boys' clothes, traditional boys' clothes, and now she's wearing traditional girl clothes? What is it?
I think, Erica, it's because Shiloh, even though we looked at them as they are a young person, really kind of was pushing the envelope for a lot of older people that wish they could dress like that. A lot of people that watch shows like this, that have been a fan of Shiloh's parents, are our age. And we grew up at a time where, there were boys' clothes and there were girls' clothes. And I think a lot of people our age wish they could have worn a really cool suit, even though they were a young woman. Wish they could have worn a dress, even though they were a young man. So when Shiloh changes their look, they feel some kind of way because on the low they're fans of Shiloh.
Shiloh's not binary.
Binary.
I don't think so because I think she in the prompter, but we want to be very careful about that. But I don't think she identifies as non-binary. So you kept saying they, right, which is the proper pronoun. Hey, I'm just working with you.
I love it. Look at us, Jeff. Look at us, Jeff.
Yeah,
there we go. I love it.
I mean, this story, even in today's society, seems so outdated. Like, who cares? What?
Yeah.
So if someone wears a jersey, like, I don't get it. I'm so confused like the rest of us. That's where we're at.
But I think Al is really right about that because people who have some of the strongest visceral reactions to stories like this, it's because of the way that it personally affects them. So, I mean, I get that, but that's also, y'all, that's what therapy is for, okay?
Mm-hmm. Or just go get the clothes you want. It's 2021. Get on out there and shake it.
Do what you want.
Yeah.
Shake it.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. And some sad news we're going to end with. Actor James Michael Tyler has died after a multiple year battle with cancer. Tyler's most famous role was Gunther, of course, on Friends. He appeared in nearly 150 episodes over the show's 10-year run and was the most frequently reoccurring actor on the show. He was just 59. What did I mean, everyone sees that and they know exactly who that is, right? But 150 episodes seems like a lot to me. I didn't know he was in that many episodes. And he had some last, things before he wanted to do before he died, and he accomplished those. And being Gunther on Friends, I think, is one of those. And having the Friends reunion, even though he wasn't there in person,
Yeah.
He lived a good life.
What a life. And that's kind of what we all want. I think, I can't speak for you guys, but at this point, I feel like I'm playing with house money. I want to live as long as I can and see my kids grow up. But I've been lucky enough to do a lot of stuff that I wanted to do, and now I want to help other people. And you think about, like, him being a cancer survivor and being a beacon of light for that community, like, it must have been everything. So, what a great life. 59 years is short, but he did a lot.
It's way too short.
He did a lot.
Way too short, but he'll be remembered for sure. Coming up on DBL, actor Cameron Matheson, one of my favorites, is here with his thoughts on the Alec Baldwin tragedy. Plus, Lori Loughlin is back on TV for the first time since the college admission scandal. Does she still have what it takes to make it in Hollywood?
Closed captioning provided by
and Doug.
I thought Al's point was such a great one because I also feel that way when we're talking about some stories, like even Me Too. When we get Katie Couric talking about everything that she did and things that she did that she would probably do differently. A lot of that had to do with the idea that, like, well, if I was subjected to this back in the day, I had to go through all of these rites of passages, then why should you get an easy pass? Why should you not understand what ridicule is and stuff like that? So I think when we have these conversations about how the world has changed, there are people who might acknowledge that the world is changing, but they don't find it fair based on how they were forced to.
It's so weird, Erica. I was having that kind of thought a couple weeks ago. I was like, as a parent and just as a part of this generation, we always go, I want my kids to have it better than I did. Everybody says that. That sounds very humble and noble to say. But as soon as your kids can do anything differently, you kids are soft. You guys don't even know.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys get to take the day off for a mental health day. We didn't have that. But it's like, it's very adversarial. But people always say, like, I wanted my kids to have it better than I did. But as soon as kids have anything, you're lazy. Like, I've seen all my friends turn into old men. Like, I was like, we used to party, and now you guys are yelling about the kids? What the heck happened to you? It's so weird to watch your friends turn into old people. Like, mentally, you know? We're like, it used to be really fun. Like, yeah, like, what happened to you two?
Life beats you down, man.
I
Life
guess,
beats you down.
yeah, it's so weird.
Welcome back to DBL. Lori Loughlin is coming back to TV. The actress will reprise her character from the Hallmark show When Calls the Heart for the second season of When Hope Calls. And we have a trailer. Let's take a look.
Being here has got me thinking of me and my sister. I don't know what would have happened without you.
Oh, Cody, nothing has made me happier than being your mom.
You mean it?
With all my heart.
I didn't get the audition to be Cody, but I think I could have got it. But let's be clear, this is a spin-off series that's not actually associated with Hallmark or the producers of When Calls the Heart. This will be Lori's first post-prison project since she got fired from that and Fuller House and her involvement, obviously, in the college admission scandal.
Yeah, Jeff, you think you could have done better than those line readings?
Dude, listen, these are the
He
kind
should
of
have been
movies
practicing in a mirror with a hairbrush.
These are the kind of movies Big Jeff likes to do.
You gotta make time for that.
There you go. There you go, Pastor Paul.
Pastor
What
Paul.
what are we really getting upset about here? She's in a movie that's not even associated with Hallmark. What are we getting upset
Jeff,
about?
because she's rich and people don't want her to rebound from this. Because, look, she paid her penance.
Right.
She paid a social price.
Right.
She paid a career price. Her daughter's been humiliated. Her family's been humiliated. I think whatever happened, it was wrong, but she was just part of it. She wasn't the genesis of it. So I think we can all move on. Turn on this movie if you're in the bathtub or doing, I don't know what situation. I would have enough time to sit there and watch that scene. By the way, what year is this taking place? Is this 20, what year was it? Was that 1840 or 2021?
To bring it back to the newspaper boy hat.
Yeah, I don't know what year it is.
I love that hat. I love that hat. But see, we're having a good time just like,
what
you
town
want to
is
take
that?
away her livelihood for the rest of her life because she was caught up in this scandal? She wasn't the kingpin of the college admission scandal.
A lot of people, you're exactly right. Like, they're trying to make it like she was at the top of the pyramid and everything, like the mafia's underneath her.
Collecting the money from everybody.
She just is an act.
But I understand why she got it worse than a lot of other people because the people who we aren't talking about just said, my bad. My bad. That was me. I didn't know it was that big of a deal.
Right.
Let me serve my time. But she and her husband drug it out for so long that it put a lot of attention on them. I don't think the woman should never work again. I mean, fame or shame, it's all the same game. It really comes down to the currency factor, which means that you're getting more eyeballs. And we're talking about this project because she's in it. That's the big thing.
Absolutely.
That's actually the answer.
Yeah.
Right there. We're talking about this movie now because she's in it. So if you're a producer of some movie that's not associated with some big network, Lori, you want to come join my movie? You'll get some eyeballs, right?
Yeah, and also I think a lot of people that are fans of Lori will get this one down. I don't know how it'll be received, but it's
Get this one down. Like
just like
swallowing.
you know, like when you're at your aunt's house
your-
and she hasn't seasoned anything, you're like, let me just finish these. Finish these potatoes. She boiled all the flavor out of it, but the next one might be good. So that's how we're gonna do this.
So you're associating Lori Loughlin's acting to an unboiled potato?
Yes. No, a boiled potato.
boiled potato.
An unboiled might have flavor. This is just boiled. They took everything out.
Wow, bringing the hammer down. I'm watching this movie. All right.
We have
when the
to
heart
now.
calls. They're calling me. Coming up on DBL, Cameron Matheson is here. We'll talk about his return to daytime TV and his new Christmas movie. I love this guy. Coming up next.
We all know that movement is like medicine, but getting the movement you need to feel better can be a challenge. Now you can keep fit while
Looking through the legislation and talking with experts, it's a false and misleading claim, but let's break down why it's false. This is the Facebook post. It says how many citizens are actually aware under Part 2 of the infrastructure bill upon death, the entire value of your accumulated wealth and estate will be taxed at 61%. Let's verify. Is this true? To find out, we went to the infrastructure bills themselves and two fiscal policy experts, Shai Akabis from the Bipartisan Policy Center and Mark Goldwyn from the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. First off, let's flag this post as false.
Generally false. That statement is.
The infrastructure bill has nothing even anywhere close to a estate tax or a wealth tax.
The so-called death tax proposal is not currently in either infrastructure bill. And our experts say this post is misleading for another reason. The death tax proposal has come up in legislation before. It would have been a combination of estate taxes, which don't apply to everyone.
Only about 2,000 households in the United States ended up paying an estate tax, and those estates had at least $11.7 million of assets in them.
And a raise in capital gains taxes, which again doesn't apply to the vast majority of Americans.
I'm talking about people that die with more than $25–30 million worth of assets. That'd be their marginal rate.
So no, this post is not true. There is currently no death tax in the infrastructure bills. Now, this death tax has been seen in other legislation, particularly the president's budget, according to our experts. But that would once again only affect the ultra-wealthy. But still a no, it's not in either one of the infrastructure bills. With Verify, I'm Matt Gregory.
Welcome back to DBL. Friend of the show, Cameron Matheson, is here to talk all about making the jump back into soap operas. That's today's Chatting with the Stars.
It's been almost 25 years, if you can believe it, since his debut on Daytime's All My Children. Now Cameron Matheson is splashing back into the soap world as Drew Kane in General Hospital. And the friend of our show joins us live.
Yes.
Hey, Cam, how are you? Good to see you.
Oh, great to see you guys.
Unfortunately, we started the show off with the very tragic news regarding Alec Baldwin and the accident on set. And we know that you've worked with a lot of different prop guns. So can you tell us a little bit about your own experience? Do you ever worry that something like this could happen on set?
Yeah, first of all, you're so right. This is so tragic and unimaginable. I mean, it really is. So many emotions come up, and yeah, I use prop guns. I shoot prop guns. I'm around them almost all the time on General Hospital. My character on Hallmark series is a detective. I carry a prop gun. The reason why I don't ever have any worries about it isn't like ignorance or the protocols that go in place to be able to use prop guns on set is, when you're going through the motions, every single gun has to be shown to every single actor on the set. So if there's 5 actors in the scene and let's say 3 guns, the prop guys or the special effect guys will come and they'll open the chamber. They'll show you the empty chamber. They'll show you the cartridge. They'll put it and they'll fire it blank down so it's empty. They'll do that to every single actor with every single prop weapon. And so by that time, we're all fully comfortable. We're all ready to go. The thought of how, obviously I don't know a lot of details other than pretty much what you guys know. The thought of how this could actually happen, it just blows my mind. It's so tragic. My heart goes out to everybody involved.
It's been 10 years since you were on All My Children. Now you're assuming the role of Drew Kane on General Hospital. What's it like taking on a character that someone else played first?
You know, it's new to me. It's new to me. Like it adds a little bit extra pressure. I got to be honest. Billy Miller played Drew Kane, and he's a very popular guy and a popular actor, and the character was popular and very involved in the story. And I think if those situations weren't the case, it would be a lot easier. You just come in and do your thing. But it added a little extra pressure for me. But at the same time, I just go in there and I do my thing. And everybody at General Hospital has written this character so fun and incredible, and he's an ex-Navy SEAL, and so it's been very easy for me to come in and just embrace it and do my own thing, and I feel like it's been well received so far, which is great.
Drew Kane, what a hot name, right? Hot name. All right, sorry, it is.
That's what the beard is, guys.
It fits the bill. It reads. So your upcoming holiday movie, Kind-Hearted Christmas, stars Jenny Garth, who I love. You worked with her 4 times now. You even competed against her on Dancing with the Stars. How is it working with her, and are you rooting for anyone on the show?
Is there anything in particular you wanted to see?
Not really. No, I'll just follow your lead. I still love to go. It's such a fun show. So working with Jenny is always amazing. I just absolutely love her. She's so funny and talented. And in this movie on JAC Family, she's just so fun to watch and so fun to work opposite of. But through her connection, obviously Brian Austin Green's on the show on Dancing with the Stars. And even though I don't know the guy at all, but through my connection with Jenny, I'm kind of rooting for him. I got to say. And Sharna, his partner, has been a friend of mine for a while. So.
BAG.
Well, you guys go way back.
We're super close. Super close.
Oh, Cameron, movies like Kind-Hearted Christmas, really, that's Tori, really get us into the holiday spirit. So tell us something about this movie that might give us a little bit of the feels.
I play a morning show host, guys. Oh. I basically play you guys in this movie. There's the reports of the Secret Santa activity in a nearby town where there's these beautiful random acts of kindness that are becoming sort of contagious and spreading throughout the town. And as the co-host of the show, I want to get to the bottom of it, and my viewers are loving it. The ratings are going up. And my contact in the town is none other than Jenny Garth's character, and we become very, very close, unbeknownst to me. She's the Secret Santa. She's the one doing the kind acts.
Well, we only have 30 seconds left, but we have to talk about real life because this is a big deal. It's been 2 years since you beat cancer. So let's, yeah, so really quickly, we have a picture that's so unbelievable, it looks fake, but this is you. Tell us about this photo and what inspired you to jump.
Whoa.
Oh, man, this is a family trip in Greece. There's my son and his girlfriend. She can't even watch. I could barely do it. I was like on this. Honestly, I was inspired just by the beauty. I know I have no time. It was 45 feet. I just was in Greece. It was stunning. I also wanted the Instagram photo. The whole thing was just perfect.
That came out perfectly.
Unbelievable. We appreciate you so much, Cam. We miss you.
2 years, baby.
I know. Be sure to check out A Kind-Hearted Christmas, November 20th on GAC Family, just in time, of course, for the holidays. Thanks, Cam. We'll be right back.
Good to see you, man.
Thanks, guys. Love you guys.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by...
Are you on Medicaid or Medicare? The U.S. government recently announced that 12.2 million citizens are eligible for additional benefits.
An important part of detecting and beating breast cancer is arming yourself with the right information about it. So here are some things doctors say folks aren't getting right when it comes to the disease. Our sources are Dr. Lori Gentile, a breast surgical oncologist with No on Health, and breast health nonprofit, breastcancer.org. First up, genetics. The claim, if it doesn't run in your family, you're not likely to get it.
Breast cancer is common, 1 in 8 women. And so we actually find that about 85% of women actually have no known family history of breast cancer or don't have a known genetic link.
So this claim is false. Gentile says most breast cancers are what's called sporadic. It's random. She says only 5 to 10% of cases are believed to be hereditary. Next, the signs. The claim. Breast cancer always causes a lump.
The number one symptom of breast cancer is no symptom at all. And so most breast cancer, the majority of breast cancer is particularly in the United States, and 2021 is detected on screening mammograms.
Gentile says that's happening 60% of the time. So no, a lump is not always a telltale sign, and it's important to watch out for these signs too.
Nipple changes or inversion or discharge, skin changes to the breast, rapid swelling of the breast or redness to the breast.
Finally, behaviors. The claim, using deodorant with aluminum and wearing underwire bras can cause breast cancer.
There are lots of women that use deodorant and wear underwear bras that never get a breast cancer. So far, there's been no studies to date showing that those are not safe or a cause of breast cancer.
So this claim too is false. Don't forget, men and women should be attuned to breast changes. And doctors say women over 40 or at high risk of breast cancer should have a mammogram every year. With your Verify, I'm Vanessa Rufus.
If you have a 515 or 319 area code, 10-digit dialing will become mandatory even for local calls. Let's connect the dots. The Federal Communications Commission established 988 as the new nationwide 3-digit phone number for the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. There are 82 area codes in 35 states and 1 U.S. territory currently using 988 as their local exchange and allows 7-digit dialing. This includes area codes 515 and 319 in Iowa. Area codes that use 988 as a local exchange or the first 3 digits of a 7-digit phone number will need to use a 10-digit dialing. Connecting the dots, I'm Khalil Maycock, Local 5 News. We are Iowa.
Welcome back to DBL. Scammers are trying to turn off your power. It's time for a security alert sponsored by LifeLock. So according to some utility agencies, scammers are calling people and pretending to be from the company, and they are even manipulating caller ID to make it look like the call is actually coming from the company. They threaten to turn off your power right away and demand immediate payment, often by prepaid debit card. So here's what you need to know. A utility company will never do that. So hang up. If your information has been breached, LifeLock is here to help. LifeLock keeps you and your digital identity secure from cyber criminals. Call 1-800-419-0131 or visit lifelock.com to learn more. Yeah. I like this straightforward tip.
Right.
Here's our tip. Hang up.
Yeah, and if you're really worried
by the way,
about
who hangs up phones anymore?
Nobody.
Wow,
that's a good point.
I just caught myself.
I kind of want a landline. I do have one. We'll talk later.
Wait a second, real fast. Do you think kids, when you know, like you're acting out, I'm going to hang up on you? Do you think kids are like, I'm going to hang up on you?
I think they've seen enough movies.
So they know.
Yeah.
All right, so say something useful
I would just say this. If you're worried about hanging up on somebody and you're like, they might not be a scammer, if they're not, they'll call back. Don't worry. If they really need your money or information, they'll get it the proper way. But if something seems weird, if anybody's asking for money over the phone, it's probably not a good situation, Erica.
Well, there's also this thing called scammer voice. Have you ever noticed that a lot of scammers sound the same?
I never take the time to talk.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they're scammer voice.
Scammer voice. Hang up that phone. Boop. See you tomorrow.